Doreen Grand-Pichet is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen. I want to move over to a question about teeth. That we've had a viewer who's written in and said, my son's teeth forms plaque quite often. It's because he doesn't let me brush it properly at night. I hate exposing him to dental clinics more often than I need to. They said that they want to know, does everybody have the same issue with them, with their kids not wanting to brush their teeth? She feels that the dental offices are full of toxicity as they use a lot of different chemicals. So that's part of why she would like to limit the number of times that her child goes. But let's talk about how traumatic going to the dentist office can be too. So if our kids are creating plaque and they don't want us to brush their teeth and they don't want to do it themselves, a lot of times we get a little paralyzed, Dr. Grand-Pichet. I'll hold my hand up. What can we do?
Well, this is coming from someone who absolutely hates the dentist. Let me just tell you, like, I will take any medical procedure over a dental procedure. I don't know why, but I've always had a thing with dentists. So what I do, and I did this with my children as well, and I did it not just with the dentist, but this is a good practice anyway, whenever you want to do something that is a little bit difficult. So what I want to do is first talk about like some things you can do to make the visit to the dentist better or to the doctor. And then I want to go back and talk about just the whole teeth brushing process, because that's, reduces your need to go to the dentist, hopefully. So both of those are just think of it in terms of it's a behavior you want to increase. So whenever we talk about you want to increase a behavior, what do you have to do? You have to increase reinforcers for that behavior, right? So whether it is a matter of going to I'll give you guys an example. When I used to take my kids to the doctor, pediatrician or dentist, whatever, it would always be, I would make it a really, really fun trip, right? So let's just start right there. It would be, hey, we're going to have a great time today. Today is the best day. We're going to do this, and then I would make sure that after, like when we go to the visit itself, we'd have plenty of activities with us. So when the worst time, I think, for kids, and it actually, classical conditioning works backwards. So if they've had once a bad experience, which obviously just any kind of injection is a bad experience for a child, you work it backwards, and before you know it, they have learned subconsciously, they've become conditioned to hating even the word doctor, getting in the car to go to see the doctor, being in the waiting room, all of that. All of those completely benign things become very negative, right? Because they mean, oh, next I'm going to go get a shot or something. So what I used to do was I used to just really pour on the reinforcers, right? And make sure that after the doctor, every time we'd go downstairs, in most medical buildings, there's a little pharmacy or store downstairs, and we definitely would go there and buy some junk, whatever, whether it was little toys, candy, whatever it was. Now, that's just the kind of the easiest way to do it. But sometimes with our kids, they develop real phobias that you kind of have to work through. And whenever I'm talking about a phobia, it's not enough to force your child through it and then reward them afterwards for finishing it. You actually have to work on overcoming the fear, which means you would, for instance, get your child in the car, go to the doctor's office and not see the doctor, right? Just have a positive experience with, let's say, the waiting room. And another, so each phase of seeing the doctor, sometimes with our kids who've had extreme trauma from a doctor's visit or hospital visit, we even will practice the whole process of injection using a fake syringe. So something like a pen or just an empty syringe, right? Where you just go like this so that the child realizes that it's not, they just become more familiar with it. And the more familiar you become with something, the less fearful you are. So there's a lot of things you can do to kind of like reduce the fear of the actual visit, exposure and reward, breaking it down, exposing the child to each step, and then giving lots and lots of reward, which also means removing demands from the rest of the day. So you could make it a special day whenever a child needs to do a doctor's or a dentist visit, and they can skip school and they can get all these goodies and all that sort of stuff. Now, going back to the whole concept of trying to avoid going to the dentist, it's the same basic idea, right? So we want to make it so that the experience of brushing teeth is pleasant for or as pleasant as possible for our children, because they don't realize the long-term consequences of, cavities. That's just way too far down the line for them to realize I have to do this in order to not suffer 3 or 5 years from now, right? So what we have to do is, first of all, make the bathroom a very positive environment, put some toys in there that the child cannot access otherwise. So they would have to be in the bathroom, like same kind of idea, Shannon, as the toilet training.
Yeah.
Maybe get your child one of those vibrating toothbrushes that also play music. There's a lot of toothbrushes nowadays where they light up, they play a song, and you brush your teeth until the song ends, which I love that for kids. They didn't have them when my kids were young. But and make sure that you buy like a toothpaste that has a good taste, and then make a good big deal out of like, oh, look how beautiful your teeth are afterwards, and like take pictures or something like that, so that it's more of a game. Now, remember, a lot of our kids have sensory defensiveness to the inside of their mouth. And if you do it gradually, if you teach them, if you give them control, actually, like rather than stick a toothbrush in their mouth, hold their hand and help them do it. When they have control over it, it's a little bit more pleasant because it's not as, I guess, shocking or intrusive. And they start doing that, manipulating and using vibrating toothbrushes inside the mouth is actually fabulous for apraxia. Like it is something that will help the child be able to enunciate and produce sounds better. So there, if you, as you're doing it, think about the fact that it's something that also helps your child's language skills. But you have to do it gently. You have to keep in mind that our kids are very sensitive inside their mouth. And by the way, other things that you can do during, aside from when you're brushing teeth, is just help, like things like chewing gum. Those types of things also help the child become less sensory defensive in their mouth. And sometimes you can actually put the toothbrush in the mouth. Don't turn it on. Just put it in for 1 second, then put it in for 5 seconds. Over time, you're kind of shaping this behavior. And don't forget, of course, reward, reward, reward.
Absolutely. We've got a lot of comments coming in. Amanda says that she found that using a non-foaming toothpaste helped, like Dr. Bronner's. Also, Amanda says that there are apps too that you can put on, and if you don't have the vibrating toothbrush that plays the song, there are apps. Amanda, if you have a favorite one, put it in the comments because I'd love to know more about that. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.